There are hidden fibro flare signs that can literally save your next 24 hours, but most of us never realize they're happening. When you live with fibromyalgia, flares don't really come out of nowhere, because when you look back, you know there were clues. Tiny ones. But in that moment, you're too busy just trying to get through the day to catch them. Your body whispers long before it screams. And once you know what those whispers sound like, everything begins to make sense. In this video, I'm going to describe the tiny early signs that most people never talk about. And when you hear them, I bet you'll think I've been watching you or reading your mind. Then I'll give you a clear step-by-step guide on what to do the moment they show up. These are the exact steps that shortened my flares from 6 weeks down to 24 hours and eventually helped me go years without a flare at all. So let's get into it. When you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly managing symptoms, you stop noticing the tiny changes. You tune them out because you're in survival mode. You're managing pain, you're fatigued, you're overstimulated, and your brain focuses on getting through the day, not analysing what's happening. So early signs really are those tiny changes, the very first indicators, the whispers that you're tipping into a flare. And when you can spot them early, you get ahead of the flare instead of being ambushed by it. Years ago, when I was going through my wellbeing program, I was asked to write down my early warning signs. And I remember thinking, I don't have any early warning signs. I just know when things are already too late. So I wrote down things like feeling sleepy, but to be honest, that was already mid-flare. But something interesting happened after doing that exercise. Once I'd written a few things down, my brain suddenly became more aware, more conscious of the topic. The next time I knocked a dish on the tap while I was washing up, I stopped and I thought, hang on, that's not right. Maybe that's one of those early warning signs. And then more signs started showing up. A moment of clumsiness, misreading a sentence or having to read it several times, not being able to pour water into a glass without spilling it, feeling suddenly overstimulated, that buzzing tired but wired feeling that wasn't normal fatigue. I wrote those things down too, and every single time one of those signs happened, I stopped immediately. That single change helped me reduce my flares dramatically. From 6-week-long flares to a day or two, and then for years I had no flares at all. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching people to recognize these micro signs, because they genuinely give you your life back. Let's talk about the tiny early signs that most people completely overlook. First is micro clumsiness, dropping things, bumping into the door frame, knocking dishes on the tap. Then there's sudden sensory spikes. Lights feel too bright, sounds are too sharp, and you find yourself telling people to be quiet even though they're talking normally. Everything feels too much. The earlier you spot this one, the quicker you can stop your flare. Then there's coordination glitches. Buttons on your clothes feel fiddly, you misjudge distance, or pouring something can become awkward. Then there's brain slip moments, forgetting what you were saying, losing your place, or saying the wrong word and someone laughs kindly and corrects you. That is a clue. It's an early sign. Next is you're feeling tired but wired. This one can feel like high energy at first, but your body is tired while your mind is overstimulated. Then there's neck or jaw tension that appears quickly, a huge early sign that a flare is gearing up. And random irritability. You're not being moody, your system is overwhelmed if you start snapping at people. Then there's temperature swings, feeling boiling or freezing with no reason, especially when other people feel fine. And remember, I feel exhausted or my whole body hurts are not early signs. That means the flare is already here. These micro signs come much earlier, and that is where you have the most power. Now here's the step-by-step guide that actually stops the flare. So step 1, choose 3 to 5 signs that I've mentioned already that show up most often for you. Not all of them. Pick the ones that made you think, yes, that's me, and start with your top 3. Step 2, attach one action to each sign. I'll give you some examples from my experience as a starter, but over time, find the actions that suit you the best. With micro clumsiness, if I knock a dish on the tap or bump into something, I stop straight away. I sit down and I close my eyes and I reduce all stimulation and I reset. I obviously become too tired to notice what I'm doing. Sudden sensory spikes, I go to a quiet dark room and give myself some space and some time alone. Even 10 minutes help, but sometimes it needs to be longer. With coordination glitches, some gentle stretching to relax over tight muscles helps reduce this for me. With brain slip moments, I pause, grab water, breathe, and I check if I'm overstimulated. Is my brain too tired? Deep breathing helps. Sometimes it's a perfect moment for a quick meditation as well. When I'm tired but wired, I take a complete break. I listen to some calming music to calm down my mind and bring my system down. If I still feel tired afterwards, I allow myself some deeper rest with maybe a nap. With neck or jaw tension, I deal with it immediately with either heat or gentle stretching movements, or I ask my husband to massage it before it spreads. If I find myself snapping, I apologize, explain I must be tired, and I go and rest. This is another lie down in a quiet room moment. I do something peaceful, maybe some gentle music, a meditation, or again, a short nap. With temperature swings, this is your autonomic system being unbalanced. First of all, deal with the comfort. Get yourself a fan if you're too hot, a blanket if you're cold. And then I use the 4-7-8 breathing method to calm my system quickly. And every time I caught a sign early and stopped, I felt less like fibro was controlling me and more like I was controlling it. Step 3, give yourself enough time with your actions for remedies. A 10-minute break and a cup of tea won't fix it if your system is overwhelmed. Sometimes a half an hour is enough. Sometimes you might need the rest of the day or a couple of days. This is the point at which you can stop it, so it's worth taking that time in order to be well later on down the line. And you get to decide what's practical for you, and that's the beauty of this strategy. You choose the timing to fit you. You can tailor it to your day and to your personal circumstances. Step 4, and this is the most important part when you first start practicing. You must stop and respond instantly. Every time you respond early, you shorten your flare and you train yourself to spot the signs and take action. Every time you push through and you think, okay, I'll rest in a couple of minutes, you lengthen your flare and make it stronger. Something that could have been a one-day flare can turn into a week-long flare if you keep pushing. Eventually, when you're more balanced and regulated, you'll know when it's safe to push that little bit more and then stop and take a break. But at the start, stopping immediately is vital. You're training your body and brain with new health habits. Step 5, know your boundaries so you can eventually grow them. When you stop constantly pushing past those boundaries, you stabilize. If I hit the dish on the tap and stop immediately, that prevents me from getting more exhausted and more overwhelmed. If I sit down in a quiet space for 10 to 15 minutes, that might be enough to go back later and do my chores without pushing my boundaries. When you stabilize your day-to-day symptoms, you can start rebuilding your energy and your life. You'll gradually have days with fewer symptoms and can introduce activities that matter to you. That's how it worked for me. This is a process that takes time, so don't rush it. These tiny shifts I've talked about are important signs that your body is giving you, letting you know that you need to stop in that moment. Once you become aware of your early warning signs, you move from constantly reacting to staying one step ahead of your flares. And that's the message of this video. You can stay one step ahead. It's self-awareness first, then the action you take is self-care, and that eventually leads to self-regulation, where you're more stable day to day and week to week. This is how we soften the intensity of fibromyalgia and regain control over it. And the purpose of my channel and my coaching is to help you to do exactly that. Tell me in the comments what's your number one early sign. Your answer might help someone else spot theirs. And if you want to go deeper into other strategies from my wellbeing program, the actual system I used to recover and have more good days than bad, I've linked a video here that explains more strategies like the one in this video. It can help you manage your condition and get it back under control so you can have more good days than bad. So until next time, look out for those early signs and take care of yourself and be well.